Well, welcome to the channel, guys. Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. I just wanted to talk to you quickly about covert female narcissists and how you can try and recognize if you're involved with one or not. And I'm talking to you as a 59 going on 60-year-old. I've spent my whole life in intimate relationships with women, deep ones, not shallow ones. And unfortunately, this problem has shipwrecked, absolutely shipwrecked, all of the relationships. All of them, not some of them, all of them. And when you think about narcissism, you can simplify it. And the way to simplify it is they're going to come through the door love bombing and enthusiastic. Then they're going to maintain that for a while to impress you and try and solidify a relationship. All the performances should be there. They'll perform sexually higher than what they normally would to convince you that they're in. And if you're aware of all this stuff, you can watch it as it's going along and just monitor it and be cool and play your part as a man. Then slowly things are going to begin to drop off. And that can happen in dozens of different ways. One of the main problems I've found is the communication level of things when they're not with you. I had a relationship with one woman and she never ever sent a how you going text message or anything like that in 18 months. Not one. So you have to be aware not of their presence, but what your value is in their mind when you're not with them. Now, I'm not saying this to be paranoid or to try and psychoanalyze where this person is relative to their attraction to you, because if somebody's with you, then they are going to maintain a certain element of being involved in the relationship, because some of these people know what they're doing and then others don't. They're just following the narcissism. They're just following the sinful nature within them in the situation that they've put themselves in relationship-wise. Some of these people know how to play. Some of these people know how to play you and will do that to try and establish and maintain and sustain the relationship. And that doesn't mean they're genuine, they're just not aware of what they're doing. And if you know how the love bomb and then gradual disintegration to discard phases work, then you can, at the love bomb stage, meet them where they're at, and as they disintegrate, detach. So by the time they've got you to the point where you're completely brain exhausted, you're detached and you just say it's time to go. I've had them come in and whirlwind where I live, completely whirlwind it, try and whirlwind me, and they'll take all the sex and attention and all that at first. Then as they fill up intimately, they're running on empty and now they're filling up, you'll find a lot of these people don't know how to turn the supply into power. And this is where you've got to be aware, because if they're not turning the intimate supply into power, then they're going to degenerate quicker. Some of these women know how to do that, which will enable them to embrace you more. They'll embrace you because you're an asset to their lives. Most women need intimacy and want to protect that. But in this day and age, that's not so common. What I've found is as the relationship wears on, if that's how you want to say it, that's how I have to put it, because if somebody's wearing out and disintegrating for no logical reason except the troubles that they've got within themselves, and you're watching the theatre of it all and maintaining your performance as a man, be it emotionally, sitting, listening, being there, not letting them down. And I don't say this in a simp way, I say this in a masculine way, observing what's happening in the relationship and watching their initial love bomb responses to the latter responses as they deteriorate. You can tell that something's going to give. Some of these women start off intimate, and then, as I said before, as they fill up, they begin to disintegrate intimately, and what happens is they try and condition you to their decline. Now that may suit you to a certain extent, but I've had them get to the point where they've more or less just said, look, I can't maintain this. Well, that means they've deceived you. They've come in, they've got their supply, they've filled themselves up, and now they don't know how to maintain a proper relationship. A lot of the women that I've met have never been intimately navigated correctly. And so the next thing, you're more or less an educator and a guinea pig for them to work out what the possibilities and capabilities are intimately in a relationship. And I've had this many times. Most women that I've met, even women that have been married for 10, 20, 30 years, have no clue on the deeper beneficial sides of intimacy. I've had them say that, I'm just doing what I thought you were supposed to do. Now that's completely ignorant. They still functioned and got to satisfaction. Got to be careful how I talk with YouTube. They got their satisfaction, but in most cases it was mechanical and selfish. They weren't going to build anything out of that was going to be lasting or fruitful. As they begin to decline, they'll try and find ways of making distance. They won't have the same element of passion. A lot of these women are very cold and unaffectionate. I've had them where I've gone to cuddle them or kiss them, and you go to cuddle them and they stand there like a scarecrow or a robot. I've gone to come in from work and gone to kiss them, and they'll look up diagonal into the sky, and you say to yourself, uh-oh, how am I going to help this person reculturalize into a healthy, intimate relationship? And some of these women, 30, 40, 50, 60, yeah, I've got a bit of a body count now, as hard as I've tried, have just been unable to culturalize themselves into a healthy give, take, care and share, peace, love and serenity relationship, resolving the things as you go. More than one I've had to suggest that they need to shave. They've had no personal prowess to their femininity, and that's offended them, but if you don't say anything, you're not going to fix anything. And other areas like that where they've just had no clue of themselves because the men that have been in their lives have not had the value for them to address and take pride in their femininity. Others have been terrific with their femininity and with their intimacy, only to be unable to resolve the smallest of issues. So you've got a lot against you as a man. You've got to understand that as these people, no matter how good they look on the surface, how great they are in normal life. As you see the signs of inevitable deterioration, you better be able to attach but still perform accordingly, because as they finally, I call it die in the arse, in front of everybody, if you're not detached, this is where men get into trouble. They end up getting all mixed up and mushed up. You've got to let them go. Now, it's been dozens of times now where I've just said we're not compatible. You've proven that, and it's probably best for you to find a place where you're going to be more comfortable. And you can't let that affect your masculinity, because what they're going to try and do is ruin your confidence and strength, your intimacy capabilities as a man before they go. And when you get to my age, almost 60, you've got no room for these people to be messing around with your libido. I'm tired of these people saying to me, well, you need 2 or 3 women, because that's not the purpose. You pick a woman, you value that woman, you embrace her in all dimensions, which you should be able to do at my age. No drugs, no alcohol, just be an available give, take care and share male. Unfortunately, a lot of women today are unable to embrace and value, nurture and sustain this kind of clarity. And so when you end up with a shipwreck, I've seen a lot of these people, they're like a hamster on a hamster wheel, and all of a sudden the ball bearings break on the wheel, you're watching it, it's starting to, wobble and slow down and ruin and break, and then the wheel is gone off who knows where. You have to be prepared to say, look, I'm sorry, but I ain't got nothing to do with this, because what they're going to do is project their inability to have value for you back onto you. There's going to be elements of pride. I've dealt with widows, particularly the widows. If they've stuck it out with their husbands, they're going to have this element of ego enthronement, where they've been idolised and pedestalised so deeply by the family members around them and the flying monkeys for sticking it out. Right? Sticking it out. Some of these people are stuck in watching their husbands die for 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30 years. But the husband has been unable to function, and these people, rather than have an active, healthy, constructive life as a partner, they become a nurse and a mother. And it's very sad what happens to them, because they become very, very, very cold and unable to, and nasty too, quite evil, to be honest, underneath the surface, very cold and nasty and mechanical. They've lost something deep inside, and I've tried to bring that back and seen signs of it, but they've been unable to sustain it, and so therefore you end up again with a discard. When they're unable to cope with the intimacy and the give, take and care, share factors, they begin to narcissistically collapse, and they're either going to cause a position where you're going to discard them or reverse discard, or you just get to the point where you go, oh look, no, we're just not compatible. And this can all happen in a matter of months and weeks. Everything could be all right for 3, 6, 12, 18 months, and then all of a sudden it all falls apart. So as they come in and love bomb, meet them there. As they begin to deteriorate, you begin to detach, until it's going to get to the point where you're going to go, look, I'm sorry, I ain't going any further and any lower to suit you. And you have to pack them up and send them away. And they'll gladly go, because you've out-loved them. You've given them no reason to be able to criticize you except for the fact of their own inabilities to be able to love you at a level that's healthy and long lasting. The men that hang out in these relationships, try and stick it out, they'll be completely demasculinized. By the time the woman's finally and eventually ruined them, and they've got all sorts of mental sufferings going on as a result of going against their conscience, that's perfect for the woman because it makes them feel like they haven't failed and that the man has, and away they go again. But you're in a position of now you've got to not just fix yourself mentally, but they usually wear you out physically as well. I've never let that happen. So be aware, they come in, they love bomb, everything's high, meet them there. As they begin to deteriorate, if you've got to be aware you begin to detach, so that when it finally gets to the point where they're just not performing and they're broken away, it doesn't matter, because you've read the situation the way that you should have, and you've allowed them to go back into limbo. A lot of these people are on the road to nowhere. You can measure this by the way they manage themselves intimately. If they can't manage themselves intimately in a genuine opportunity to give, take care and share, fully functioning relationship, they're going to usually just be on a hamster wheel, and they'll keep breaking it. And they'll hide, go back into the shadows, and just get on with their, basic family life. The hamster wheel, they'll get that going again. And it's a road that leads to nowhere. You've got to protect yourself from that. Meet these people and love them as best as they can until they crash. Once they crash, you have to walk away as kindly and as fairly dignified as you can, heal, and then look at what's going to happen next. Thanks for coming in, guys. Bye for now.